Hey everyone, and welcome back. So what better way to start out the week than with some awesome Nintendo Switch deals? And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today in this weekly series where we go through the Nintendo Switch eShop and we pick out some of the best Switch games that are currently on sale. Now just before we get started, a quick reminder for anyone that might be new to the channel, about halfway through the video I'm going to be giving away 2 $5 eShop gift cards. If you want to participate in any of those future giveaways, all you need to do is be subscribed to the channel and drop a comment down below in the video. If ever you want the full contest rules, just look in the description of the video. Also, if you get to the end of the video and you're still looking for other great deals, I'll always be linking last week's eShop deals as well as the latest under $5 list, because most of those deals are still running and I generally don't repeat them 2 videos in a row. Now, with all of that stuff out of the way, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our great deals for today. Just remember, if you are appreciating the series, one of the best ways to support the channel is to hit that like button. So now I want to start this week's list with a quick shout out to 3 of the best LEGO games that are back to their lowest ever prices. That is Marvel Super Heroes 2, DC Supervillains, and also LEGO Harry Potter, all ranging between $8.99 and $11.24 and running till May 23rd. Now, till LEGO Star Wars actually goes on sale, I think that these are really some of the best deals we can get on LEGO games, especially if you're a fan of the source material. Not only that, but these are the best versions of these games because these are the deluxe editions that are on sale this week, meaning you get most of the DLC included in one package. Now, just in case you've never heard of the LEGO games before, they are basically 3D puzzle platformers using the source material, but adding an awesome comedic twist based around Legos. And I think the most fun you can have here as well is in co-op mode. These are great games to play around with a friend and just have some fun, or especially a younger player to introduce them to the genre. Overall, when these games are at these prices, they are just all amazing pickups. Now, our next great deal for today is actually a brand new one to the series with Zengeon that is back to its lowest ever price of 33% off, $13.39, and yet again will be running till May 23rd. Now, the basic gameplay setup here is that of a roguelite dungeon crawler with an isometric viewpoint. Now, as a reference point, I am going to be using Hades here because this game does have a lot in common with some fast-paced, combat-focused gameplay. However, at the same time, delivering some storyline elements in between each run. However, I do want to mention the overall gameplay isn't quite as clean, especially on the visual sense, but nonetheless, this one has an awesome anime flair to it. I do also want to mention that there were some slight frame rate issues when things get hectic on screen. However, overall, nonetheless, it didn't affect my gameplay too much. So if you've already played through Hades and you're looking for another roguelite dungeon crawler with a very similar style, I would say take a long hard look at Zengeon for this week. Now, our next game for today is another brand new one to the series, and that is Cyberhook, that is at a brand new low price of 65% off, now only $5.24. However, you will have to move quickly because this one is ending at midnight tonight, basically when the date rolls over to May 17th. Now, Cyberhook is actually a game that I played upon release, and although I had tons of fun with the gameplay, I really wasn't prepared to suggest it at that $15 price point. So I really was keeping an eye on the game, hoping for a major sale like today so I could finally share this game with all of you. Now, this is pretty much a first-person parkour game where each level is a time trial. Your only point is use any mechanics available to you to make your way to the exit as fast as possible. The visuals have a crazy Tron-like style to them, and the physics-based mechanics are actually pretty impressive and you can pull off some pretty crazy stunts once you get a hang of it. This one, however, I will give a warning, the initial difficulty curve is very steep, and getting a hang of those mechanics can actually take quite a while at the beginning. Also, I would say that even once you get a hang of them, this is nonetheless a very challenging game. But if you're looking for something with a very original and different feeling for this week, this could be an amazing pickup. Now next, guess what? Yes, we have another brand new entry with the Legend of Tianding that is 33% off, once again $13.39, and will be running till May 23rd. Now this game is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up. However, they've mixed in quite a few elements of exploration and a quite full storyline here. You are playing as a Taiwanese folk hero that is sort of a version of Robin Hood that is fighting for the poor against the oppressive government. I've got to say, I was very impressed by this game on almost every front. The gameplay and combat is very smooth, and on top of it, the visual style that's almost a blend of comic books and anime is actually quite amazing. One thing to maybe note here is that none of the voice acting is actually in English, and you're going to have to read through the subtitles. And also, as I said earlier, for a beat-em-up game, there's actually quite a bit of exploration, but a lot of it seems slightly pointless, and I would have rather just jumped right back into the action for most of those sections. But overall, nonetheless, I find this is a quite amazing game that's even worth its full price of $20. So today, 33% off for $13.39. In my opinion, you're getting a great deal. Now, our next game for today is yet again a brand new game to the series, with Godstrike that is now 50% off its lowest ever price of $7.49, and this one will be running till May 26th. Now, Godstrike is yet again a game that I actually played upon release. However, once again, although I enjoyed the game, I really didn't think it was worth mentioning at its $15 price point. And yet again, I was waiting for a huge discount just like today, and at 50% off, now I can finally talk to you about this game. It is basically a 3D boss rush bullet hell game where everything is based around time. It's the basic concept of something like Sinmora EX, where your only resource is time. The more hits you take, the more time you lose, and if your timer hits 0, it's a one-hit kill. Now, fair warning here, this game is extremely challenging and is going to demand a lot of repetition. If you don't like going through the same boss fights over a dozen times to learn their patterns and how to match them, this game isn't for you. However, if you enjoy that repetition and the satisfaction that comes when you finally defeat a boss after a dozen or more tries, well then Godstrike might be the game for you. And finally, at $7.49, I can say it's definitely worth a pickup. Now, the next game isn't a brand new one to the series, but it is a brand new lowest ever price, and that is The Company Man, that is now 20% off, dropping the price to $15.99 and running till May 30th. Now, The Company Man is actually a game that I played on stream, and it's a 2D action platformer where you play a corporate worker trying to literally fight his way to the top. You're going to be using your keyboard as a sword, emails as weapons, basically everything you see in a normal corporate office turned into a war zone. Now, I've got to say that gameplay-wise, visually and sound, everything was top-notch here. The only thing I could hold against this game is that its runtime is a little bit short. I would expect that most players can end this game in under 5 hours. However, in my opinion, those were 5 hours of greatly designed levels and some really fun gameplay, so in my book, it was definitely worth it. If you need any more convincing for yourself, this one also has a free downloadable demo. So now it's time to take a quick break and announce today's winners of the $5 eShop gift cards. And our first winner is going to be Lord Diablo, who said, "Goblin Sword looks really good, reminds me of the old SNES games I used to rent as a kid." And yes, Lord Diablo, I really do think that Goblin Sword really captures that old school feeling, and I hope that if you picked up the game, you're having a ton of fun with it. Now, our second winner for today is going to be Rodney Baker, who said, "Mini Motor Racing X looks good. Thanks for sharing." And yes, Rodney, you are right. Mini Motor X was definitely a great addition to the lineup last week, and I'm glad a lot of you noticed it, and I hope you all picked up the game. So now, all you need to do to claim your $5 eShop gift card is reach out to me in my pinned comment down below. So now, if we jump straight back into our deals, our next game is Grapple Dog, that is back to 25% off, dropping its price to $11.24, and will be running till May 23rd. Now, this is yet again another game that I played on stream and actually also fully reviewed. It is a 2D action platformer with puzzle elements as well. It's also the first original release by Super Rare Games, and I've got to tell you, it's a stellar one. First of all, I love the colorful, chunky animations that they used. Secondly, the gameplay is super easy to get into, yet once you hit the end of the game, becomes challenging enough to really test your reflexes. There's also some fairly adorable side characters here, with a lot of little interactions that you can dive into if you want to put the time in. Overall, if you're a 2D platformer fan and you sort of want a safe pick that I think pretty much everyone is gonna love, Grapple Dog is probably one of your best bets for this week. Now, our next game is going to be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot that is back to an eShop low of $29.99 because it is 50% off. Now, you will have to move quick, however, because the deal is ending on May 19th. Now, this game is basically an action RPG where you're playing as the different members of the Dragon Ball Z team, and you're going through pretty much all the major storyline plot points. Not only that, but you are also seeing some background elements that weren't featured in the anime and that do fill in a couple of plot holes. Now, I would definitely primarily say that this game is directed to fans of the anime. If you're unaware of what Dragon Ball Z is, I would say maybe stay away from this one for the moment. The reason why is that they speed through a lot of the storylines, and it's almost as if they assume that the people playing this game already know this story and just want to get through it and see the highlights. But overall, this was an extremely solid port to the Switch, and at $30, you do get a lot of content here. Once again, if you need more convincing for yourself, there's also a free downloadable demo. Now for the next game on our list, I'm actually cheating a little bit because normally this would be exclusively on the under $5 list, but we're going to be taking a look at Super Cyborg that's at a brand new low of 43% off, $3.98, and runs till June 1st. Now, I'm cheating a little bit today because I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to pick this game up. And basically, I think you need to ask yourself two questions. Are you a fan of retro gaming? And are you a fan of Contra-like games? If you've answered yes to either one of these questions, especially if you've answered yes to both of them, just go and buy this game. But all jokes aside, this is an awesome side-scrolling run-and-gun shooter, very along the lines of something that we would have expected from the Contra series. And it's actually a game I fully reviewed on the channel as well. And when I picked up this game, going in, I really wasn't expecting much, especially with such a budget sales price, but I was completely blown away, and I definitely think that this is a hidden gem on the Nintendo Switch. I will give one slight warning, however, this is a very difficult game. However, there are some modern improvements to make this more approachable, such as infinite continues and the ability to save your progress so you don't have to beat the game in one sitting. Overall, this is a great pickup even at full price, and at $3.98 it's just a complete steal. Now next on our deals for today is actually on a couple of games, and that is the Subnautica series, with both Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero being 50% off, $14.99 a piece, and running till May 27th. On top of it, these will be my picks of the week. Now, the Subnautica series, if you're unaware, is a open world survival series where you basically crash land on an alien planet that is pretty much completely covered in water. You do have advanced technology to help you, but you'll have to scavenge for resources to build things like air tanks and even submarines. Now, the world that you can explore here is really big, and on top of it, visually it's just stunning. Now, my personal favorite of the two games is definitely the first one, but Sub-Zero definitely needs to be experienced if you enjoyed the first. Lastly, the ports to the Switch here are very good, and they run very well whether you're in dock mode or handheld. And I've got to say, having these games in handheld mode is a definite plus. Now, our next great game for today is going to be the Falconeer Warrior Edition that's at a brand new low of 40% off, now $17.99, and running till May 25th. Now, this game is another open world game. However, this time it mixes in a flight simulator where you're riding on the back of a giant warbird. And I've got to say, it's really an amazing experience, and it's almost unbelievable to think that this whole game was developed by one and only person. And it has a very original visual style to it. Now, if you're a fan of open world games and you're looking for something, however, with a very original twist, I think you're going to be very pleased with the Falconeer. On top of it, on the Switch with the Warrior Edition, you also automatically get the DLC included, so you can even fly on the back of a dragon if you prefer that over a warbird, and you've got 3 additional side quests included. This game is just another amazing pick for this week. So now it's time for this week's Sizzle Reel of Deals with 11 other great games to consider for this week. So we're now at the end of another eShop deals video, and I'd love to hear from all of you. What are you picking up for this week? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to my channel supporters. Their monthly support is just so appreciated. And on the way out, don't forget that if you did like the content, consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel if you aren't already, and clicking on the notification bell so you know when all my future content comes out. And as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video.